Tim is back. Tell a
Come on.
friend. How's it
Come on,
going?
people.
What's going on? How's it going?
Good, good. I think I'm nearing the end of the recovery now, so hopefully I'll be back in the
Come
studio to
on. Come
get
on.
breaking news. Yeah, I was watching the game today, watching the watch along as well. Big up to Amir and to you. Great watch along. De Zerbi ball, I'm absolutely loving it at the moment. Absolutely loving it. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I know we drew to Sydney. It wasn't exactly like um, a vintage performance or anything like that, but I think you could already see the foundations. I think you could
Yeah,
already see it. And there's a lot of young players as well.
absolutely. It's not just that you're already seeing it, but I think it's getting better as the games wear on. And I think at some point, like after the first 60 minutes today, I was saying to Amir that I feel like, well, we were both in agreement that this has probably been our best performance of pre-season so far, even though we didn't win the game. You
I
could
think
really
we
see.
conceded just as you said that.
Yeah, well, but don't you agree? Like today was probably at times you saw really that kind of building out from the back, the little patterns of play, the pressing from the front, like everything was there. Just the quality in the forward line. That's what's missing.
Yeah, and I think De Zerbi knows it. De Zerbi said it. It's not. This isn't a secret. This isn't like we don't know what the problem is. De Zerbi was asked um, what we want in the window, and he said we need attackers, and not just any attackers. He said we need first choice attackers. So he's
Yeah,
not talking about attackers to come and help the front line. He's talking about no, we need attackers to be the front line. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So
yeah.
this is. I'm not. I mean, I'm worried that we don't have them in, but I'm not worried that this is a problem that Tottenham don't know or aren't trying to address. We clearly are. So yeah, that is clearly the thing at the moment when you're watching the team in pre-season perform. We're clearly doing very well getting in between the thirds. We're getting doing very well getting it out wide as well. But when it gets to finishing it off, um, yeah, we're lacking. We're missing too many chances. We're creating a lot. I think we're creating a lot of chances, but we're not putting it in the back of the net. And so hopefully, you know, when we get new players in, those things can be addressed. Obviously,
Mm.
even right now, I mean, obviously, are we playing even with the? I mean, I guess who's actually missing from our attack who'd be available? You got Kudus who's missing, Madison
Kudus,
who's missing,
Madison, Solanke,
Solanke,
um,
Decky's still not there.
yeah, a number of
Um,
players.
so even now, even the attack we're looking at, it's not like it's our first choice attack, is it?
Yeah, look, we're playing
So
Solomon on the right, who's not going to be here next season, most likely. We're playing Gallagher in the
no,
10, and
Scarlett's getting a lot of minutes. Like,
yeah,
oh, yeah. So as much as even now, you know, you are frustrated with the attack, but even that doesn't represent maybe what our first choice attack might look like come the first game of the season. So
yeah,
I'm not too worried about it in that sense, but obviously that is a concern. In terms of things I really liked today, um, yeah, the I think Malachi Hardy looks such
it's
a
impressing me
composed
more and
figure at the
more
back.
every game, man.
And what I really like about him is obviously for large parts of the game, especially in that first half, there wasn't that much defending. But what I like about him is he's got that confidence to kind of like stride into the middle, which are,
Yeah,
you know, a lot of young centre backs, they like to just keep play it safe. You know, they'll get the ball, just pass it
no,
along, and don't want to make any mistakes. But he's happy to break past a player, get into the middle, open the space up, and I really like that about him. And obviously, he's a very confident player, so he's one I really liked. Obviously, my boy Matisse, he's looking more and more confident as preseason goes on. Brilliant free kick. The guy has talent. The guy has brilliant shooting ability. He really
yeah,
does, and we saw it at times last season, as I said. And that free kick was fantastic. That showed unbelievable confidence, and he just put it top bins, no questions asked. Brilliant free kick, and I really believe if we give him opportunities, this guy's got goal contributions in him. I'm so confident of that. I think for me, there's no question about it. It's just about platforming him, about giving him those opportunities. 'Cause I think the guy has real ability in the final third. I think he can be one of the ones who can give us a bit more of a killer instinct if we platform him. So
yeah.
I think that's positive.
He's performing phenomenally well in this preseason so far, but we've got to remember who we're playing. You know what I mean? I think we need to see it against better opposition. But I can't fault him. I can't fault him at all during this preseason.
Yeah. But I'm saying we've seen him score goals in the Premier League already. Last season, how many
Yeah.
goal contributions did he get? I'm not saying it was like a crazy amount, but he got a fair amount even last season in terms of goals. Important goals as well. Like in the back end of last season against Leeds, that was a very important goal at the time. So like he has shown he can do it against better opposition. He's shown it in the Bundesliga he can score goals. In the Champions League, he's shown he can score goals. Like, obviously, he's still young. He needs to do it more often, but he's shown ability. He's able to do it. And I know it's only pre-season, but he's looking more and more confident. I'm really excited about him. I think he's good. I know a lot of people are frustrated with Gallagher, but I actually think, look, I don't think he's a traditional number 10 as I like my number 10s to be. But what I liked about him today was. He was like what were we complaining about last season with Connor was that he just was a bit anonymous at times. Like we weren't seeing him in the final third. We weren't seeing him getting on the end of chances. Like we kept saying, you get him on in those areas, he can provide a bit of quality and the difference. We're just not seeing him there. And today, his pressing was really good. I don't know how many times he won the ball in up high up the pitch, but it was a number of times. And he was getting in really good positions. I know he didn't finish off the chances. There was one when he was on the penalty spot and just ball got stuck under his feet. And then he had a decent one on the edge of the area which hit the post. And he was getting in really good positions. And I'm confident, if he keeps getting in those positions, we've seen it before in his career. He has the ability to finish them off and be really confident and have quality in those positions. So that was really encouraging that he kept finding those spots and kept finding those positions. It was quite consistent throughout the time he was on the pitch. He was finding those areas.
It was like three big chances he had, or three chances that he had.
Yeah, and he'll be disappointed, obviously, that he didn't score. But I was at the end of the day, it's pre-season. You just got and you got to find encouraging spots. And looking forward to the season, if he can keep finding those spots and those areas, the goals will come. If he can keep finding those consistently.
I don't disagree, but what I would say about Connor is, like, from a 10, we need some more creative play. And we don't see that from Conor Gallagher. And I know what you're saying, he's not that kind of style of 10, and he's a pressing 10, and he's going to, force mistakes out of the back line. And he did that today. But still, we need more creativity from the central areas of the pitch.
I don't disagree. And that's why I don't really like him, for me, as the 10. But he's going to be the 10 who create. Look, you're going to have to make do with the fact that if he plays in the 10, he ain't going to be creating through picking the lock and all the having eyes at the back of his head and having all that vision. That's just not his game. So he's going to create chances through pressing and forcing mistakes. And he's very good at that. That's how he's going to do it. If we're going to have creativity, we're going to have Maddison for that, or Decky, or someone else in that position. So, it's going to need different players have different strengths. I don't think creativity is one of Gallagher's biggest strengths, but what is his physicality and his pressing and relentlessness and his energy.
That today,
he showed that today. He created a number of chances just through his pressing, and that's what he's going to do if he plays in that position. Obviously, second half, Williams-Baret. I mean, the guy just looks ready. He looks
the part, doesn't he?
He looks the part.
I mean,
completely.
The audacity with that penalty, man. The sheer audacity, man.
The guy is oozing with confidence. I think, obviously, he's 17, so there are some occasions his decision making, still lacks. But there's a lot of times his decision making is also very good. His touch just seems spot on every time he gets the ball. He seems so confident. He goes to goal.
Round a player is incredible.
Yeah, he's part. I mean, yes, decision making. I felt like when he was on the wing, when he was linking Robbo. I'll get on to Robbo in a minute, but when he was linking Robbo, that was brilliant, and I thought his decision making a lot of the time was really good. Where I found it lacking when he was cutting inside, and he had the choice whether to play a pass or shot, and I think a few times he kind of made the wrong decision. Huh?
He hit the bar with one of those.
No, that was actually on the wing. He was taking on his fullback.
That's what you're talking about on the wing, his decision making.
No, I'm saying his decision making on the wing was good.
Oh,
I'm saying when he cut inside, and when he was actually playing a bit more
Yeah, I
central,
get
then
you.
he was a bit, then he kind of got lost a bit more, which is obviously is a harder thing to do. There's less space. There's you've got to make quicker decisions when you're on the wing.
He's
You've got more
17, man. The
options.
guy's
I'm not
17.
complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just mentioning what I'm seeing, and I'm so excited about him. I'm so excited. This guy looks like he could honestly provide something for us next season.
Yeah,
Honestly, I
I
really
totally
believe
agree. And
that.
we can't even loan him out because he's too young. So he has to be, at Spurs. And I think he's too good to be with the under-21s. He's way too
Yeah,
good to be
I
with the
think he should be
under-21s.
considered an option. I'm not saying to start games potentially, but I think he can maybe be a bit of an X factor late in games. Like that's how he should be used early on the season. If we need maybe something late in a game, and maybe you can bring him on. I honestly think he might be able to provide something for us. I think this kid is clearly growing very, very rapidly. Physically, he's very much on par with everyone else on the pitch. Well, especially you're looking at the opposition. I know in Sydney, but he was very much not at home physically with those players, like
I'll tell you
completely.
what. I'll tell you what, Sid, because he's been compared a lot in terms of the two kind of prospects in the academy in the forward line, him and Mikey Moore, right? When Mikey Moore came in his first pre-season when he was 17, he looked decent. But he never looked as ready as what Luca Williams-Barnett looks right now. Mikey Moore still doesn't look as physically built as Luca Williams-Barnett, in my opinion. And also, Luca just seems to be playing with so much more confidence than what Mikey Moore had when he was in the first team and even in pre-season. So I think confidence is such a massive thing, isn't it? And I think self-belief. He looks like he's just got so much self-belief, and that can take you such a long way.
And what's also amazing, MK Dons, he played centre mid, in a double pivot and was brilliant. Against Auckland, he was playing more as a number 10 in that game.
Yeah.
And had a decent cameo. And then today played on the left wing and was also just as dangerous. And clearly, this guy's very tactically adaptable. He listens to instructions. I think and he was a threat on the wing. He's clever enough to play central midfield as well. That just shows game intelligence on top of confidence and talent. I think that's probably maybe what separates him even more to me than someone like Mikey Moore. I think Mikey Moore's also obviously still a very good talent. I actually liked what I saw against. I think physically, I think he's actually growing, and I think he's getting a bit quicker, and I think he's getting a bit broader as well. But I think when it comes to game intelligence, and imagine Mikey Moore playing in double pivot, you just can't. He just wouldn't be able to do that. Whereas Luca Williams-Barnett was able to do that and almost dictate a game. It was
much
incredible.
Bigger. When I was talking about them physically, I meant comparing them when they were both 17.
True.
Different worlds away when they were both 17.
Different worlds away. This kid seems something special. He really is. And you know what? I'm already seeing rival fans on X starting to comment on compilations on him and saying this kid might actually be special and everything like that. When you got that happening, you're like, okay, wow. Even when rival fans are starting to comment on him, but he's special. I honestly think this kid. I know there's been a lot of hype about him, but again, the way he's just stepped up into when you're playing against men's football against adults when you're 17, and he's not just looking at home. He's thriving. And he's taking people on. He's beating them with ease.
He's
and
best player
he's
in the
creating
park.
chances. Yeah, honestly, in that second half, especially for the first half of that half. Well, to be honest, for most of that half, yeah, he was the best player. He was brilliant, and
you get so excited every time because you just want the ball. Exactly, you just want to keep feeding him, and you just want him to get on the ball because you think something's going to happen every time. It's just fantastic. And what else was good was his link-up play with Andy Robertson out on that left-hand side. I thought him and Robbo looked fantastic together, and Robertson was getting in all sorts of spaces, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say, but let me get on to Robertson. I was so encouraged by that cameo for Robertson. I thought he was excellent. Absolutely excellent. Within 5 minutes of coming off the bench, he'd already created 2 big chances.
Yeah.
That is the quality we've been missing from our left-hand side. As much as I've always say I love a doggy, and obviously Spence has been filling in there. They just don't provide that quality that Robertson showed literally in the first 5 minutes. He probably showed more quality in the final third than any of our left backs have, in the last 5 years. That's the truth. And this is not to say that we've had terrible left backs, but Robbo is showed that in those 5 minutes why he's been one of the best left backs in the Premier League over the last decade, because that quality and that consistent, how he does it so consistently, that's what separates him. And I understand we miss those chances, but when the Premier League comes around, it ain't going to be Yan Min Hyuk on the end of those chances. It's going to be someone else, hopefully
He
someone
looks
with more
poor,
quality.
doesn't he? He looks so
Yeah,
poor.
and so that's why I was so encouraged with Robbo. I thought that is what we need. And he looked physically, he was getting into those positions with ease, with energy. Again, I know it's only Sydney, but still, that shows me something. That's something he's been doing throughout his Premier League career. So to do that, so early, within 5 minutes of his first preseason game, shows me something. But it's just more the quality. He even nearly scored. He had a decent effort as well. So I think, I think he's going to be our first choice left back. I think it's really obvious, to be
And and,
honest.
and you're really starting. Well, you think it's going to be first choice?
100%.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's obvious.
I think I have to wait and see. We could all get excited about 20 minutes in pre-season, but it is just against Sydney. We have to wait and see.
It's not about
In my
that.
opinion.
It's about his career. It's about why he's been brought in, and you've already seen he's not. He's still got it. He's still he's still got that quality. I think it's clear he's going to be the first choice left back, and that's part of the reason he's been brought in. And obviously a doggy. It is a bit worrying that he's not at pre-season. He seems to pick up another knock, so that's quite frustrating. And hopefully he comes back. And obviously I love a dog in. I think down the line, hopefully he will be he's got the physicality, he's got the strength, he's great one-on-one defending, he gets to the byline consistently, he's got the tools, but he's still lacking when it comes to when he gets into that final third. And I think De Zerbi's really going to appreciate what Robertson offers in those positions. I really think so. And the leadership, everything on top of that as well.
I think you're really starting to see the players that they look fit, don't they? They don't even look like it's pre-season. They look like pressing all the time, going at a million miles an hour. They look really fit, these players. So I'm excited to see what we're going to see against Chelsea with a few more of the senior players in there.
Yeah, It's. In hindsight, I'm looking at this decision to go to Australia and New Zealand. I don't know how smart a decision this was, to be honest, because you look at the New Zealand friendly. Zerbi said he didn't even want to play any of our first choice players because of all the jet lag and all the travel time. So what was the point? What was the point? Why did we do that? I know, okay, sponsor, marketing or whatever. I understand you want to spread the word of Spurs to all
I
four
reckon this
corners
was
of the
booked
world.
in when Ange was at the club.
Yeah, but no, I don't. But why New Zealand? What was the point? That seemed like a complete waste of a trip.
New Zealand and Australia, it's the same thing.
Yeah, when I heard that, that's why De Zerbi played a weekend. I was like, well, is that really in the best interest of our preparations for the new season? It just doesn't seem that, to be honest.
Well, you look at the preparation what Arsenal are doing. They're just going to the Republic of Ireland. That's what you really should be doing after a World Cup, especially. So
yeah, so that's kind of frustrated me a little bit when it comes to having all these preseason games.
This is what the club do. We went to Australia for a post-match friendly, post-season.
Yeah,
friendly,
I agree.
Yeah,
But what have we heard? We've heard from Vina and everything. Football has not been the focus and everything. Look, I'm sure these preseason
this
tours
was a commitment from the previous hierarchy, though.
Yeah, I understand that, but for me, you can change things if you really want. Look, forget that. I'm not saying it's the current hierarchy's fault necessarily. I'm just quite frustrated with the whole situation. It doesn't seem geared towards really preparing Tottenham for the new season. I don't think it's really done our preparations the best of help. All this jet lag, all this long travelling. We're playing young players all the time. We're not even seeing our first choice because he doesn't want to risk them. It seems like that. That's what it's. That's what he keeps saying. So what's been the whole? What's the point? I think obviously you do still learn stuff about the younger players, and it's not like a complete waste of time. But I think if I'm just fully focused on preparing for the new season, I don't think this was the optimal pre-season trip. I really
Most
don't.
definitely not. Most definitely not. Because if the optimal pre-season was to get our players some minutes, and not many of our players are getting minutes.
Exactly.
That's the reality. So
And
look, we do have three friendlies
Fernandes,
by
by
the
the
time we
way,
get back.
in terms of Fernandes, by the way, I mean, I am a bit worried about it, but only because I understand Ali Gold said it's not true about the injury, but they panned to a shot on the touchline of some of the players, who weren't in the squad today. And there was like Solanke, who's been rumored to have an injury or stuff, and like a doggy was there, but there was no Fernandes. He wasn't there on the touchline. So I do wonder what is going on there. Obviously, with all these rumours circulating, I mean, it just adds to the concern. And obviously, as a Tottenham fan, whenever we hear these rumours, it always turns out to be worse than we first feared every single time without fail. So I think there is reasons to be worried. Obviously, hopefully we'll see in the Chelsea game if he's available and playing. Hopefully, if it is an injury, let's just hope it's just a knock or whatever. But
someone in the comments says De Zerbi's said that he's got fatigue in his calf.
Okay. Oh, what, has he just done his press conference?
Must have done.
Fatigue in his calf. I mean, that's not great news, is it? But let's see, is any quotes.
Where's he got fatigue
anyway
from though? Like he has had a summer off, no World Cup. He's played like a few minutes in a pre-season game.
Apparently, he said in his press conference that he wants Bergvall to stay.
Look, we know the club want Bergvall to stay, but it's interesting that he's saying it. I thought Bergvall was decent today.
Yeah, I thought he played quite well. He seemed to kind of be playing with like a bit of a point of view. In terms of what you're saying about Rio, I liked what I saw about Rio, but he does remind me a bit of Kyle Walker-Peters in a sense that, not in a bad way, but like he's a bit small, decently technical, good energy.
I think he's physical though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how physical he really is. Like I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think he might become a Premier League player, but will he become a top player, a top player? I'm not sure if I'm like seeing that. Like he very much reminds me of Kyle Walker-Peters. A player can play on both sides, like comfortable. Like is a good player.
He's not a fullback. He's not even a fullback.
What's his position?
By trade, he's a midfielder.
I don't think he'll be a midfielder.
I mean, that's his position. Like
I know, but when you're young, everything you change positions all the time.
For the under-21s, he's literally played in every single position under the sun, like literally every position.
Well, there you go. I think your positions change all the time when you're that age. You're not.
Look, I'm not. I'm not saying that he's gonna make it for Spurs and he's gonna be a great player for us for the future. But what I would say is that he's been really impressive in pre-season so far. In every game, I think he's been a standout performer.
I think De Zerbi's implying that Fernandes ain't going to play on Saturday.
Fantastic.
He said he's got fatigue. He's just fatigued in his calf. We took the decision not to take any risk and let him recover. But next week on Wednesday, when we start the pre-season in London, he'll be ready to work. When do we play? We play Chelsea on Saturday, right?
Play Chelsea Saturday, yeah. And then we got a pre-season game in London the week after, on the weekend.
Yeah, so that he kind of implying that Fernandes ain't going to play.
So frustrating, man. We're going to see another mishmash team on Saturday. We're not going to even see everyone, are we?
Yeah.
Makes this whole trip just pointless. But yeah.
Yeah, but
it's just like you could make this up, man. You couldn't make this up. Ali Gold literally said yesterday that they think he's going to be like the world's best midfielder or something crazy like that, and then next minute he's injured.
Just fatigue in his calf, mate. Just fatigue in his calf. But no, I definitely, you can see, just in general, for the first few pre-season games, you can definitely see some of the principles being implemented from De Zerbi in the build-up and all that kind of stuff. And when we need to quicken it up, if they're pressing, we quicken up. If we need to slow it down because they're standing off, we slow it down. Like, I know even though it's the younger players at the moment doing that, Like you can still see that being implemented into these players, and they're very quickly like getting to grips with it. So really encouraging. I like what I'm seeing, but obviously we'll have to wait and see down the line when we play Chelsea and other preseason, then when the season starts. But I like what I'm seeing so far in this preseason. I do like what I'm seeing in general.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's hope it's a step upwards when we play Chelsea, because that's the first real test of pre-season comes this weekend against Chelsea. Hopefully you'll be by my side on the watch along on the weekend, and good to have you back, and we'll see you soon.
I'll be back for the watch along for sure.
Nice one. Good to have you. Big up to Sim.